All right, hey guys. So obviously it's looking a little different here. We're trying something new with flowing outside. It's pretty nice in Arizona right now. It's not too hot, especially towards the end of the day, so it's kind of nice to get out here. So with you seeing me out here, maybe that'll encourage you to try to flow outside if you do have that option as well. Of course, if you're like in the night or the inside flows, definitely don't let me stop you here either. So this flow is going to focus on tight hips. I've gotten a few questions, comments about what I can do quickly in the mornings or, you know, after work or just when my hips are not feeling good. So I put together a few poses that I kind of always work through to open up my hips here as well. So when you are ready, guys, let's just meet on our backs in bound angle. So what that means here, you're going to be flat on your back. You're going to have the soles of the feet touching, knees out wide, hips are going to be heavy. And we'll stay here for a moment just to actually center ourselves as well. So even in this pose right now, we're already opening up our hips. We're letting gravity help us out here. The wider that those knees can stay, the more space we're creating in our hips. So in our bound angle pose, while we're also trying to center, I find it helpful if I have one hand on my belly, the other one on my chest, and I definitely keep my eyes closed and I just focus on the rise and the fall of my belly. So I'm not going to make us kind of go with our same breath to movement here because I don't want you to worry that you're not going fast enough or I'm going too fast. I want you to just focus on your own pace. So just big inhales and exhales up. I'm going to try to keep our Trip quiet here. He's going to be in the background today. He won't be in the video. Okay, coming back to center, getting those jitters out. It's okay to move. You don't have to be super steady, super still just yet. Just kind of work on getting those tweaks out. Not twerks, we're not twerking. And then when you are ready, just keep those eyes closed. And the only thing I will ask of you today, just try to keep the inhalations and the exhalations equal. So if you're inhaling, maybe you count to see how long that inhale is. So as I inhale, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it once more together. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and think about that for a few rounds here. I'll let you kind of focus on your own breath to movement. So I'm finishing up that last inhalation or exhalation. And we're going to stay right on our backs here, guys. So go ahead and extend the legs out long. But right away, we're going to wrap that right knee into our chest. Maybe for a moment here, we kind of find some circular motions to kind of open up the hip joints, the hip flexor. Going in whichever direction feels good for you. All right, when you are ready, let's grab the outer edge blade of the right foot. We're gonna find half happy baby here. I find it easier, definitely when you're trying to work on opening up the hips, if you kind of focus on one at a time. So if you'd like to, go ahead and move to full happy baby. But with half happy baby, I find that you can find a deeper stretch with the right hip. So holding on to the outer edge blade of the right foot, pushing that knee down towards the ground. The knee should definitely, I guess depending on where you're laying on your mat, but the knee should definitely kind of splay over to the right edge of the mat and definitely away and out from the armpit here. Maybe you find a push with the forearm. Maybe finding some flossing actions. The possibilities are really endless. I always will encourage you to experiment, find any intuitive movement. By no means do you have to stay in this half happy baby without any movement. Go ahead and do whatever else, is calling to you. So when we are ready, we will come back to a static happy baby. Let's take that left hand, guys, grab the right shin, and we're just gonna do a big exhale as we find a twist here. So right knee over to the left side of the room, and we're gonna gaze over towards the right, keeping that right arm extended out long as well. And using that left hand to kind of aid in grabbing the outer edge, the outer edge right thigh, I guess I could say. As you keep the shoulder blades grounded, really feeling and breathing into that right side body. Big inhale, open up, create some space. And as we exhale, push it all out, twist a little bit deeper. Awesome. Keeping that right temple onto the mat here as well. And now if you are not feeling or vibing with gazing over towards the right side of the room, definitely don't let me stop you. Just gaze up towards the sky, or I'm sorry, the sky in my in my current position, or maybe the ceiling in yours. Beautiful. Let's exhale and come back to center. Squeeze that knee in just one more time. And then exhale, extend out long, and we're going to replace it grabbing the left knee here. So bring that left knee in towards the chest. And again, let's start with just finding some circular motions, some circular movements. Kind of greasing up, as I guess I would like to say greasing up that right, or I'm sorry, the left hip flexor here now. Awesome. And when you feel that this is enough for you or open enough for you, go ahead and grab the outer edge blade of the left foot, and we're going to find that half happy baby again here. So maybe since this is more of a spot that you can see, it can kind of help you out. So like I said, that left knee should be over and away from the mat, so kind of over the edge of the left mat here. Nice little bend in the left hand here as well to kind of just aid in a gentle push towards the ground. You don't want to force anything, but you can definitely assist. There's a big difference between forcing and assisting. And again, that flossing action, maybe you work on straightening out the leg a little bit. If you're really liking this and you're liking where it's opening up and the sensations you're feeling in a static or, a still moving half happy baby, definitely don't let me stop you from staying. It is. So I'm just staying here for a few breaths. Maybe it feels good to close your eyes. I think I would prefer half happy babies over full happy babies almost any day. I feel like I get so much deeper in a half happy baby. Like my knee is never typically this close to the ground when I'm doing the full expression. So it's kind of nice to experiment with just focusing on one side of the body. Big inhale, extend and open up the chest. Exhale, push it out. Big inhale here. And as we exhale, let's bring that right hand to the left shin and we'll aid it over towards the right side of the mat. Gaze to the left, finding a nice little twist here. Gazing over that left hand, sealing the shoulder blades down. You can always straighten out the left leg here too. Or if you're liking the bent knee, of course, keep it that way as well. Closing your eyes if that feels nice. Awesome. We'll inhale back to center, bringing that left knee to the chest for a moment. And you know what? I'm actually going to bring the right knee in as well. Finding just a nice squeeze, massaging the lower back. And then when you are ready, there's going to be no fancy way to get there, so I'll just let you know where we're heading now. We're going to meet in a tabletop position, so maybe that means you cross the ankles. You kind of roll up a couple times to massage the spine. If you're not a roller, I definitely understand that too. Maybe you just kind of meander on over to your tabletop position. Once we are there, we want to double check our foundation. So make sure those knees are about hip distance apart and the shoulders remain over the wrist. Really spread and open up the fingers here. All 10 fingers, equal weight. And we'll work through some cat and cows here just to kind of open up and move through the spine. So let's inhale, drop the belly, shift the gaze. Exhale, round, curve the lower, mid, upper back. Inhale, drop the belly, shift the gaze, finding cow. And we'll exhale, round, chin to chest. Couple more rounds here. Inhale, push that chest through. Soften and expand the collarbones. Exhale again, finding that rounding motion. Let's do about 3 more rounds to ourselves. Trip is eating leaves, if you're wondering what that noise is. He's chasing his own shadow, it's fine. Okay, guys, coming back to our center, let's inhale, extend the right arm up over toward the sky, and we'll exhale, thread it across the chest, eventually bringing over towards the left side of the mat. And that right temple, right cheek rather, may touch the mat here as well. Simply just finding a nice stretch to thread the needle. Left hand, where is that going? There's many options here. Maybe you extend it up towards the top of the mat. If you're wanting more, you can always find the right hip crease here as well with that left hand. And just kind of breathe into where you are currently. Try to keep the hips squared to the center here, not shifting over to the left or right too much. Just a couple more rounds. Awesome. If you do have that twist here, go ahead and extend that left arm up to the sky, and then let that left hand push you up as you unravel from this thread the needle, right arm to the mat, to the sky, and exhale back down to the mat. We'll switch sides here. Let's inhale that left arm up overhead, and we'll exhale, thread it through, meaning over to the right side of the room here. Finding those same variations or those same, placements with the right hand here. So maybe that's to the top of the mat, or maybe you find a nice little pocket in the left hip crease. Kind of breathing into that right side body here. Feeling a nice kind of softening in the upper back, upper shoulder blades here as well. Awesome, just big inhales in, opening up and expanding. And as we exhale, maybe we twist a little bit deeper over to the right side of the room here. A couple more rounds. Awesome, last one here. So if you do have that bind, feel free to start releasing it and bringing the right hand to the mat, pushing into it as we inhale to unravel from that thread, and we'll exhale the left hand to the mat. And right away, let's go ahead and tuck the toes, lift the knees and the hips up for downward facing dog. Now we won't be here too long, kind of just more of a transitional pose, but I will give you time to kind of pedal out the feet here. I personally could literally sit in downward facing dog for 60 minutes. There's so many ways you could go with this, directions to work the spine, the hips, the back, everything. But just for right now, at least for this class, we'll just kind of work through it for a few moments. So go ahead and pedal out the heels. Push into both of the hands, all 10 fingers, especially the index and the thumb. Think about melting the chest towards your thigh. Awesome. Now we'll find some stillness here. So right away, as we find that stillness, let's inhale and extend the right leg up to the sky. And as we exhale, we're simply going to place it to the top of the mat. Drop that back knee. You're going to find Anjaneyasana, or just like a low lunge here. So go ahead in this lunge, since we're wanting to work the hips, definitely just push and let them melt to the front of the mat here. Back toes can be tucked or untucked. I find when I tuck them, I have a nice quad stretch versus when they're untucked, you're not really pushing into it as much. So definitely up to you here. Try not to fall. So hands can be on the hips if you're liking that pushing motion. If that's too much, definitely push or kind of back out of that. Interlace the hands and bring them to the right thigh here maybe. Or you can just do the traditional arms up, framing the ears here as you gaze towards the top of the room. Just keep those hips squared, chest nice and long. Soften those shoulder blades with whichever kind of variation you've chosen for yourself. We'll be here for a few moments. Just focusing on that breath. Big inhale as you lengthen out the side bodies, and exhale as you lunge just a little bit deeper into that right foot, right knee. Biggest inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to place both hands to the mat, guys. We're going to tuck those back toes, lift the knees, straighten that front right leg, and find a modified pyramid pose. So modified means that left heel is not on the mat. If you're wanting it on the mat, simply just boost yourself up here. We'll inhale, flat back, straight spine, and we'll exhale, fold, kind of keeping a nice straight spine, leading with the crown of the head. Awesome, big inhale here, and exhale back. Now this time, as we inhale to that flat back straight spine, we're gonna kind of push off the back foot here. So keeping the the right leg straight, and for a moment here, let's simply push off that back leg, meeting it to the outside of the left hand. And we're just gonna kind of get the hips heavy, finding Malasana or Yogi squat. Definitely a good hip opener here. Helps you with your lower back. I suggest if you're waiting in line, doing whatever, wherever, whenever, pop a squat, a literal yogi squat, and it will just work wonders in opening up and creating some space here for you. If this is too much for you, just keep heel toeing the feet out to the edges of the mat here and just work on keeping the hips heavy. Now you want to keep a nice prayer position here with the hands, because what that is doing here, guys, it's pushing open the hips and it's keeping the spine straight. I don't want this in our yogi squat. This is a passive squat, which is definitely okay, but not for this class. So don't want you looking like this. I want you to stay active and I want you to push into those hands to keep the spine straight. Awesome, and just maybe you find some sways here if this isn't, your favorite pose. And just a few moments. Awesome. Big inhale here. And last exhale to settle. Now this time, as we inhale, we're gonna straighten the legs, hands to the mat, and find a halfway lift. Flat back, straight spine. And we'll exhale, fold. Beautiful, big inhale, halfway lift. This time, as we exhale, let's keep that right foot to the top of the mat. Push that left leg, or left foot rather, towards the back of the mat here. And we're gonna find a lizard lunge, so whatever that means for you. If you're here today, that's totally okay. Oh, I'm sorry, place that back knee down. If you're here today, that's definitely okay. If you have some more space, maybe the forearms meet the ground here as well. If you want to keep the knee close to the chest, make sure you are driving into that big toe here, guys, and that will kind of help keep that knee close to the chest. If you're not feeling that today or ever, personally, it's not my favorite either. So I always open up my hips a little bit here. So how I'm gonna do that, I'm just gonna pivot the foot towards the corner edge of the mat so the knee will follow as well. And then you can kind of push into this. So it's still a lizard lunge, you're just finding some more opening here with the hips. That right hand can gently place on the right knee. Keeping the left forearm on the ground just for some support here as well. Maybe we sway back and forth. Awesome, we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go back to center. If you are on your forearms, start pushing away with the hands. Tuck that back toe, and we'll bring that right foot back to meet the left for downward facing dog. Awesome. We'll move to our next side here. So let's inhale, extend that left arm up to the sky, and we'll exhale, place it to the top of the mat, dropping that back knee again for our low lunge. Go ahead and kind of work and experiment with any variations that we kind of went over with our right side here. So maybe you push and let those hips melt to the mat. Interlace those hands, push away at the thigh, rounding maybe the shoulder blades, separating those a little bit here too. Keeping the neck nice and long. Or of course our traditional arms framing the ears, whichever is calling to you. I definitely always like to remind the class, the students, of course I am your teacher and I'm instructing you, but you are your biggest teacher, your breath, your movement, your body. So if something's not calling for you today or ever, definitely just kind of remove it. Or if you're wanting to experiment and go a little bit deeper, I always encourage that here too. And I'll be here for just a few more rounds. Big exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last inhale here, guys. As we exhale, those hands are gonna meet the mat. We're gonna tuck the back toes, straighten the legs, finding that modified pyramid once again. Feeling a nice stretch all the way through the left hamstring. Inhale to that flat back, and then we'll exhale, fold. Keeping a nice flat back, crown of the head kind of meeting the left toes, left foot rather. And inhale to a flat back, lengthen out, create space, and then we can exhale, kind of lunge into that space. Awesome. Last inhale here to that flat back, straight spine, and as we exhale, we're going to find that yogi squat again. So right foot will meet the outside of the right hand, hips heavy. And finding those prayer hands again once more. Just settling in. Maybe you close your eyes for a moment. Also remember, try to lengthen and straighten that spine. Keep it nice and long. If this is ever too much for you and this is what your mollasana looks like, this gets such a bad rap, and I don't get why. Like, not everybody is going to be this deep, and you shouldn't feel as though you're doing any less than what anyone else is doing. If this is your squat today, now, in 5 years, 10 years, this is definitely okay. If you're needing a block under the bum here as well to kind of make this more easier for you too, I definitely encourage that as well. But either way, we just have a few more moments here. Awesome, big inhale and exhale. This time as we inhale, hands will meet the ground, extend and straighten those legs. And we'll inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Big inhale here, halfway lift. And again, exhale, fold. This time as we inhale, halfway lift, we're gonna keep the left foot up to the top of the mat. And we'll bring the right foot to the back, drop that knee, finding our lizard lunge. And again, wherever you are at today, just meet yourself there. So if you want to stay on the hands, totally okay. If you have the space to go to the forearms, that's an option here as well. And I mean, it's definitely nice to work on the lizard lunge, keeping the knee close to the chest, driving into the left big toe. I'm just being a baby, and I've never liked it personally. I don't think I've ever mentioned a pose I don't like, but I don't like lizard lunge with the knee close to the chest. I will always do this unless I'm kind of trying to discipline myself. So please feel free to pivot that toe, or I'm sorry, the foot off the edge of the mat here and find what works for you. And just a few moments. Finding some space, some movement you've created. Awesome. It'll be for about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you did find those forearms, go ahead and extend them out long, hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes, lifting the knee. Go back to our downward facing dog. Then we will lower to a child's pose. So knees out wide, untuck the toes, hips heavy towards the thighs. This is where we will end class today, guys, just to kind of settle into a nice gentle hip opener, or kind of a hip release here rather. So in our child's pose, like I said, just let those hips get heavy towards the heels. Extend those arms up to the top of the mat and just settle in. Go ahead and close your eyes. I think in child's pose, it's one of the easier ones to really kind of close your eyes and hone in on, because nobody can see you, right? Nobody can see your eyes. Nobody can see what you're doing. So just go there now and focus on your own breath for a few moments. Deep inhales, equal exhales out. Maybe massage the third eye. I definitely hope the last, 15, 20 minutes or so worked on opening up any, the hips, the tight hips that we all have, whether it's when you first wake up or whether you just naturally have tight hips. This will work for either of those avenues. So yeah, hopefully this helped you guys out. Please don't let me get you out of your child's pose here, encouraging you to stay in this moment as long as you can. Then this is where I will leave you guys. So if you enjoyed this class, please let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Definitely let me know if there's anything you'd like me to focus on in future classes. I'd be more than happy to accommodate that. So yeah, I'll leave you guys here. So thanks for flowing with me today, and I'll see you on your mat again soon.